Caroline Lee Radziwill, Jackie Kennedy Onassis' younger sister, was a popular socialite, fashion icon and interior designer, known for her impeccable taste and elegance. Born and raised in New York, Lee Radziwill returned to the city in 1964 and lived in several apartments. Join us as we explore some of her iconic apartments in New York. In 1964, Lee moved to New York to be closer to her sister. She moved to a duplex on 969 Fifth Avenue. She embarked on the redecoration project, starting by dividing her long living room into two smaller square rooms, which, as she told Architectural Digest, would give her more flexibility in designing the space she cherished. When she moved into the apartment, she tried the Manhattan interior style, which did not work out for her. Like the homes before her Fifth Avenue apartment, she incorporated colours, textures and personality into her home, turning it into a home that expressed her personality and tastes. Her living room reflected her love for the 19th century, specifically Victorian decor. She turned her walls red with accents of green. She extended the warmth of the reds from her walls to her space's furnishings, adding colour and texture. She was also an avid collector of antique furniture and art, which she incorporated into her deco. In the living room, Lee hung 3 19th century paintings from James Ward. She also displayed a 5th century Roman head on the mantel, Louis XVI side chairs, a writing table at the corner of her living room, and an antique inkstand. She covered the walls of a 5th Avenue dining room with dark orange moire and hung a playful 18th century painting of a dog shaking hands with a monkey by John Wotton. Her dining room tables and chairs were Regency furniture with orangish hues that complement other pieces in the home, including her tortoiseshell card case collection. Lee decorated a library with French fabrics on the walls, windows and furnishings. In addition to the comfortable couches in the library, she also included Regency benches. The master bedroom in her Fifth Avenue apartment departed from the deep and warm hues of the living room, dining room and library. In this space, she went all out with her love for plants. She had a white colour scheme in the master bedroom with natural shades of green and multiple botanicals. In her interview with Architectural Digest, she explained her choice for the bedroom decor, citing her love for light, life and country living. Her master bedroom had views of Central Park, which, combined with the multiple 19th century watercolour botanical prints on her wall and the chintz fabrics on her bedroom furniture, gave the illusion of country living. The furniture in her bedroom includes a canopy bed and a Venetian desk. Lee also incorporated the botanical theme in her daughter Tina's bedroom. In 1979, Lee sold her duplex on 969 Fifth Avenue and bought a penthouse at 875 Park Avenue. A believer in the lifetime value of her decor pieces, Lee carried some of her furniture and decorations from her Fifth Avenue apartment to her new penthouse. She decorated the space simply, incorporating elements that matched her style and showcased her love for botanicals. She shared her interior decor approach in the January of 1982 issue of Architectural Digest. One of her decor choices was using wooden shutters instead of draperies throughout the penthouse to soften the light streaming into the home. Inside her living room, she set up comfortable couches with floral upholstery, which she combined with antique Louis XVI chairs and a Louis XVI table. She anchored the seating room in her living room around a Bessarabian rug. Her dining room continued with the simple but elegant decor from the living room. She incorporated 19th century botanical plants, a Bessarabian rug, a round rosewood dining table, Regency armchairs with curlew arms and hocked legs, and a Regency cabinet. Inside her master bedroom, Lee had a canopy bed with draperies and an upholstered set of steps at the foot of the bed. Other furniture in her bedroom included an 18th century Austrian desk, an English wheelback chair, and a Louis XVI layer-back chair. The master bedroom had a predominantly green colour scheme with floral and pattern accents on the bedding and furniture. Her penthouse came with a terrace wrapped around the apartment's perimeter. On the terrace, she incorporated blue, silver and white plants, colours which she also incorporated inside the house, harmonising the two spaces. Lee lived on the 15th floor of 160 East 72nd Street until she died in 2019. The apartment occupied the entire 15th floor of a cooperative building built in 1928. The Lennox Hill apartment complex comprises 15 stories and 20 units. It was built by the Taylor and Levy architectural firm for Kingdon Gould. Her apartment was a 3-bedroom, 5-bathroom unit with private elevator access. Lee's approach to design was, first and foremost, light. Her spaces, whether on 5th Avenue or Park Avenue, were filled with natural light. Her 15th floor apartment had north and south facing windows, ensuring plenty of natural light into her spaces. She also incorporated bold patterns and styles in her apartments, especially her Lennox Hill abode, where she spent the last years of her life. Most of the rooms in the apartment are covered in fabric with different prints, from rubelli stripes to floral patterns. Inside her living room was a wood-burning fireplace, built-in bookcases and arched windows that allowed natural light into the room. The walls are painted white, elevating the light and airy feel of the room. Above the fireplace, she hung a Louis XV style Trumeau mirror. She had 2 sofas and a custom ottoman by D'Angelo around the conversation area, anchored by a 19th century rug. Behind one of these sofas was a Regency period game table. Also in the living room was a G. Jacob Louis XVI chair. Her Manhattan apartment also had a sitting room. She covered the walls of this room with vintage rubelli striped fabric on the walls, curtains and the custom daybed she designed. Lee decorated her dining room in reds and pinks, covering the walls and the space in Milanese silk. She had a round dining table with multiple 19th century chairs. Her library walls were covered in Lamanic fabric, which is also used on the curtains and a sofa in the room. The room also features a Swedish settee. On a table in the library, Lee had an English Erglemese lamp and a framed watercolour sitting on an Art Deco chest of drawers. Her master bedroom at 160 East 72nd Street featured southern-facing windows that lit up the pastel interiors featuring striped walls and furniture. In addition to her bed, her bedroom had a Victorian slipper chair, recliner and inbuilt bookcases flanking a wood-burning fireplace. Her apartment was listed for sale in 2019 at an asking price of $5.7 million and sold for $4.25 million the same year. Lee Radziwill was known for carrying pieces of her art and furniture from one apartment to the next, and when she died, some of the pieces were put up for auction by Christie's, giving us an even deeper look into her decor style. Here are some of the notable items from the auction. 15 Indian painted glass from the 19th or 20th century, which she used in her Buckingham Palace apartment and later in her 5th Avenue apartment. Late 20th century sofas upholstered in cream silk wool, and a square tufted ottoman by D'Anglos. She used the set in her Upper East Side apartment. A 20th century Empire-style gilt metal mounted mahogany library table that she kept in the living room of her 15th floor Manhattan apartment. A pair of early 19th century ormolu urns mounted as lampshades. She kept the lamps in her 5th Avenue apartment. 18th century upholstered Louis XVI giltwood armchairs by George Jacob, which featured in many of her New York apartments. A late 19th century to early 20th century French ormolu model of a toucan, mounted on an embossed base. She had the model in France and moved with it to her New York apartment. A 19th century North European mahogany centre table with a rounded wooden top with brass binding and a tripartite base with embossed dolphins. Late 19th century to early 20th century Spanish colonial painted retablos, which she hung in her New York apartment. A 19th century Napoleon III button-tuft slipper chair, upholstered in striped Rubelais fabric that she used in the sitting room of her New York apartment. Lee believed that interior design was a matter of self-expression, something one had to do to express individuality. She used this philosophy in her own homes, incorporating the prints, textures, designs, antiques, and contemporary elements that she loved into her own homes, whether she was decorating her apartments in Paris or her New York residences. Thank you for watching this video. Let us know which one of Lee Radziwill's New York apartments was your favourite. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications.